Hello everyone, Drew Wilson of Your Ear Gamer here. Today we are traveling to the year of 2021. That is when the Xbox One game Forza Horizon 5 was released. As of this recording, is the last known installment to this particular franchise, though a sixth game has been rumored to be in the works, so who knows. Anyway, I've got 10 minutes on the clock. Let's dive straight into this one. And before you ask, yes, I did manage to play through Forza Horizon 4. And great game. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And as you can tell, this next one plays in the setting of Mexico. So a bit more of a slightly more tropical setting than, say, London. But indeed. It's a different location, so right button, those are all your views. Just quickly cycle through them all so you have an idea. And dramatic jump. One thing's for sure is that I was a little bit worried about Forza Horizon 4 because there was like lots of debate about which one is the best Forza Horizon game, and I didn't pay too much mind to it, but a lot of people seem to agree that it gets worse and worse. But the question has long been, which game did the franchise like fall off? And it was curious because I saw people say, oh, it was at its peak at 2, and I've seen people say at its peak it was at 3, and at its peak it was 4, and there was just never seemingly any agreement. And yeah, it was just an interesting aspect to the which game was the best. And so far, like, I've been finding all the Forza Horizon games have been good. Like, I've been enjoying my time with every single one of them. And I'm not sure what it's loading, but it's loading something. Ah, another cutscene. So, Forza Horizon 1, I enjoyed that. Forza Horizon 2, thoroughly enjoyed that. Forza Horizon 3, definitely enjoyed that. Forza Horizon 4, definitely enjoyed that. And we got another vehicle. One thing I really liked about Forza Horizon 4 is the fact that it kind of incorporated a season aspect to it, which added a lot of variety to the game. So I really liked that part of it. And because of that, I was kind of curious, like, for this game, I wonder if some new mechanics have been employed. Now, I was under the impression, I think it was 3, that maybe you switch cars partway through in the game, but that didn't really end up being a mechanic, and wasn't a mechanic in the next game. So it was just like, I think it was more introducing the different cars that are available in the game rather than actually showcasing an actual mechanic. So definitely interesting to say the least. We're driving into a dust storm. I see. I hope we have thermal imaging or something. Well, we have a line. Yeah, weather patterns is nothing new in this game. I've seen like rain, for instance, snow, and that sort of thing, and of course fall leaves and stuff like that, muddy conditions. A storm, I think, is a new one. I don't think that was in 4 or anything before that. Definitely not recommended for safety reasons.
Okay, on my mark. 5, 4. 4 now, that's fine.
Flamingos. I mean, this massive amount of tree branches that you're slipping through.
Touchdown! Not even a scratch. The jungle awaits.
Yeah, one thing that Forza Horizon games really got well is the different environments. I mean, that was especially the case in 3 and 4, where it was like you could go through like desert areas in Australia in 3, as well as some forest zones, that sort of thing. And Forza Horizon 4 did that as well. You got through the different valleys and stuff like that. You could drive through, or you can drive up and down mountains, that sort of thing. So seeing the different biomes was definitely a strength in the last few games, and from the looks of things, it's kind of returning here. Especially the way like they transition from one biome to another, for instance. Like, it worked really well. And of course, breakables are definitely a thing in this game. And because it's an intro race, and this has been the case for several games now, the skill points that you earn for pulling stunts is disabled as it kind of introduces players to the driving mechanics. So, but I think after this it'll probably activate just like other games. For that for instance, if it was a normal race, I would get air. Yes, rewind. And just to showcase rewind, if you press Y, it goes up to a certain distance, and if you want to continue like this, then that's what you can do, is just press Y again. So a bit of a choice between different points in the race. There's only so far you can go. But yeah, it helps you out, because this isn't exactly a closed circuit race thing for going over a few courses. Like, there's lots of different like elements in the race that basically makes most of the driving point A to point B, so you're not exactly perfecting your turn and trying to get to the apex just a few inches closer or anything like that. So very useful mechanic in something like that. And also the driving in general is much more arcadey style, as opposed to the average sim racer like the Motorsport series or Gran Turismo if you're a PlayStation person. I think there's probably plenty of others on PC as well. I'm just not thinking at the moment. But yeah, you get, in terms of skills, you can do chains and stuff like that. It increases the multiplier. That's been a very standard thing for a while now, and you get points and you earn perks as well once you get enough points. And different vehicles also have different classes. You can get, in the previous games at least, you get D rating for like the lowest style or lowest performance of a vehicle, and then it just goes up from there. And I think, if I remember right, it goes up to S2 in the previous games. And of course, roads are optional. I know I'm just kind of driving kind of sloppily there. So, and the thing is, one thing I definitely noticed a lot with Forza Horizon games, like B and A ratings vehicles, like that is actually probably the best balance of like performance and steering as well. Because otherwise, like for a lot of races, you end up spinning out a lot, especially when you hit dirt patches and like S2 rated vehicles. It's very difficult to control. Doable for sure, but you got a lot of extra challenge that you would not otherwise ordinarily have for a lot of vehicles on those kind of S2 classes. Another aspect of the game that is very common, and I would be surprised if it doesn't continue here, is when you go into a race, you have the game automatically. There we go. The game automatically. What's the word? It basically makes the opponents similar to your rating. I know there's a word that's very obvious, and you're probably screaming at me right now what the word was. And it's at the tip of my tongue at the moment. But yeah, it's makes all the opponents more reasonably close to what your performance is. So if you go into a lower tier than say C, then other opponents are probably going to be C tier as well. Maybe B, maybe D, depending on where your performance points are. And now we're doing this. Now I played something like that in 4. I played something like that in 3. I think I will pick that dude. Just for variety, you know? You can definitely customize your hair as well. I'll stick with default. Actually, medium brown looks pretty good. The thing is, though, it doesn't match. Sometimes it doesn't match the eyebrows. I don't know. You know what? Why not? Prosthetics? Really? Amplification. Apparently you can get hearing aids. He, him, sure. And sure, why not? That works. So I guess that's surprisingly that's it. Not much more I can actually showcase. Yeah, bit of a slightly longer intro. I don't know if it's my imagination, but definitely quite an intro. Kind of having flashbacks to another racing game for the N64, if you can believe it. It's Beetle Adventure Racing, and that had like the volcano that you could go through. That had like jungle areas as well, and I don't know why this game reminded me of that particular like game for some reason, but it just did for some reason. So far, like the feel of it is very similar to other Forza Horizon games. Graphics are quite impressive as always. It's kind of hard, like for like an average player like me, to kind of really tell a big difference between different games these days, because it just seems like, yeah, it may look a little better, possibly, but it's almost hard to tell, honestly. But I mean, the difference between the graphics is like great versus great, so Anyway, it's going through a cutscene right now, but yeah, it's I'm looking forward to this one, honestly. It's curious to see how it goes. I wanted to showcase the map, but obviously don't have time for that now. Wanted to hear from you. What did you think of this game? For those of you who have played this, was this a really good game? Did you prefer other games in this series? Did you prefer other racing games in general? Or was this a really entertaining game that you really thoroughly enjoyed and have a lot of fun with? Let me know in the comments below. For those of you who haven't played this particular game but have played other games in the franchise, what did you think of this, what you saw here? Does this look like a game that you would be into, like that looks very familiar to you and you want to give this a try? Or maybe you already had your fill of Forza Horizon games already. Either way, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on that. And for those of you who haven't played any of the Forza Horizon games at all, what did you think of what you saw? Does this look like a kind of an interesting, fun game to you? Or is it maybe not necessarily your style? You prefer maybe something different, like sim racing or more arcadey style racing games? Maybe you prefer Need for Speed style games? Or maybe this is like, hey, maybe I should just finally make the push to play this game. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. And side note, the update is like 124 gigs, so just a forewarning for those of you who want to install this one. Yeah, you may want to set aside some bandwidth for that. Anyway, that is all for now, and until next time, what is your era?